youngest cousin is getting married. Vancouver, Washington. Basically North Portland.
Oh, I don't really like, so we can vote, huh?
He wasn't ever in. Someplace. Yeah. She said something to you. You just told me.
Give her a middle chair.
Make you talk though.
Here.
Hopefully I only need one piece, but I just grab them all. Just in case. Oh, good, good. Are you ready? That's good.
4:59 still.
Oh, okay.
That's why I have it here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's actually sad that we have to meet again and have this event. I would like to recognize the loss of Mr. Stan Bear. So if we could just have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. I did not know Mr. Bear before he was a commissioner on the county board, but I always sat over right in this side of the room here, and he was one of the more gentle, warm individuals I ever encountered. He always had a warm smile. He was always prepared, and he is a great loss for the county of York. And I just to his friends and family, he will be, and to the citizens of York County, he will be missed immensely. On that note, I do applaud the 7 applicants for the District 3 for the York County Commissioners. This is a spot that it's kind of informal, the way, there's not a guidebook, there's not a rule book on how these meetings run. And so what we are going to do is that there's 7 candidates, and the names are in this little glass right here. And we will pick out one at a time, and the first individual will introduce themselves, and they would have a 5-minute period to make an opening statement, and then we would have a question answer period after that. At the conclusion of the 7th interview, the 3 of us will each individually write down on a piece of paper who we would vote for to be the new county commissioner. And then we will count the vote and see if there's a consensus at that time. And if there is, then an announcement will be made. And so On that note, I think we could get started.
Can you?
Get a little on your fingers. Mr. Andrew Dunkley.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. County Clerk Turner, County Treasurer Williams, and County Attorney Olson. My name is Andrew Dunkley, and it's an honor to apply to serve as York County Commissioner in the 3rd District. I apologize, I wrote for a 10-minute time, and I will try to cut it down to 5. So I'm so appreciative of the opportunity to speak to you today. This is a really important role. I'm really sad that we have to do this. I knew Commissioner Bear briefly as a constituent during my time with the Nebraska Farm Bureau. He's a good man, and he is measured and thoughtful. I would aim to be measured and thoughtful as well in this role. My family and I chose York County. Moving here from Colorado Springs in 2021, following the pandemic, my wife and I were able to look at where we lived and make the decision that we did not want to raise our children in Colorado. The core values that used to embody the state had eroded. We sought out a rural lifestyle with Christian and conservative values so our kids could be raised in the same small town environment that we were blessed to grow up in. I bring this up to address what I believe is a major issue, and I'm not originally from York County. It is not lightly that I seek this appointment to serve its people. In fact, my first instinct when approached to apply was that I shouldn't because I'm still new. However, I believe my experience lends itself to the role, and I could bring a unique skill set and add value to York County. I've learned a lot in 3 years that I've lived here, and I'll never stop learning. I also want to bring up my family's move to York County to emphasize that the approach York County has taken is attractive. We live in a wonderful, wonderful place, a place where people work with what they're given and always strive to improve. That's an effort I can support and would gladly help serve. And everywhere I go, I brag about York County and the wonderful life my family's found here. Since moving to Bradshaw, we've tried to get involved with the community as much as our busy schedules allow. I currently serve as a board member for the Bradshaw Board of Adjustments and the Bradshaw Planning Board. I'm one of the worship leaders at my church here in York. I've been a referee for the Nebraska School Activities Association for 2 years. My wife adjudicates high school theater throughout the state for Omaha Performing Arts, and my kids utilize so many local programs, more than I can list here. I've been blessed to spend my career in service to people and to issues including issues that impact the people of York County. For 12 years, I've worked in governance and advocacy on every level, including county, town, state, and federal government. I've worked in the United States Senate, advocated in 17 states, managed consultant teams of over 60, coordinated boards made up of C-suite level executives of Fortune 500 companies, and either represented or worked directly with both state and national trade associations. I currently serve as Deputy Director of Government Affairs and Public Policy with the Nebraska Department of Environment and Energy. The director recruited me to the role because of the relationships I've garnered with external stakeholder organizations and with elected officials. It's been an honor to serve Nebraskans in an executive branch code agency. In the role, I have been able to help lead strategy and guide the agency in ways where I can have the responsibility of focusing on the need for small government and against overreach. It is very easy for government employees to get focused on the programs that they have, but I've found that that's not usually out of malicious intent, but because of a narrow view of how to do it, I would strive to always see the whole field. Prior to serving with NDEE, I represented farmers and ranchers and the over 55,000 statewide members of the Nebraska Farm Bureau. I worked with leaders throughout the state in successful efforts to support the lifeblood of Nebraska, that's farmers and ranchers in rural communities. The range of issues I was able to gain experience in through this role was vast. Tax policy, local control, siting and zoning, property rights, water quality and quantity, power generation and distribution, housing, childcare, environmental regulation, transportation. You get it. The Farm Bureau likes to cover a lot of stuff. I've developed working relationships with business owners, most every trade association in the state, regional elected leaders, community college and university leadership, every state senator, agency directors, the governor and his staff, and the congressional delegation. It was also in this role that I started to gain knowledge and relationships on the county governance level. I've worked with the Nebraska Association of County Officials. as leading municipalities and with commissioners and supervisors throughout the state. I'd hope to be able to continue that work serving York County. Prior to my time in Nebraska, I was in government and public affairs, covering a number of issues, and as I said, worked for the Senate. But I can continue to go further back, but I'm not here to recite my resume. I do want to highlight something that shaped my professional career, and that's my time as a Division I athlete. I played offensive line at the University of Northern Colorado under former Husker assistant coach Scott Downing. My football career did not lead to on-field wins, but it did instill in me a team-first mentality. As an offensive lineman, it was my job to perform as part of a unit to protect the quarterback and move the ball forward, without taking any of the praise. It is not lost on me that the York County Commission, like an offensive line, has 5 positions. I love working behind the scenes as part of a team, moving towards a common goal. I'm not putting my name forward as some sort of glory, but to protect and move forward. I'd like to highlight something that would let you know how I approach issues. I tend to be skeptical, and I ask as many questions as I can. I strive not to be afraid to say, I don't know. I cannot count the number of times I've entered a meeting with little knowledge on a subject. However, I have yet to experience a subject that I can't grasp and move towards decisive action. I find a natural curiosity and skepticism, if its foundation is based in a desire to do good, leads to being able to work with most everyone. I'm proud of the relationships I've formed with people that I disagree with, and it is an area that I want to continually work on. I've always been and always will be politically conservative, but most importantly, I'm a Christian led by my faith. That faith instructs me to serve others using the gifts that I've been given, and one of those gifts that I'm blessed with is a knack for forming relationships with key people and clearly hearing and communicating issues to a voting public. I hope that this opening statement has clearly communicated why I want to humbly serve, shown the experience I have that can help me as a county commissioner, and highlighted my desire to learn while maintaining and growing what's good about York County. Thank you, and I can answer any questions you may have. Again, sorry that was spent.
In your comments, you said you have a busy schedule, so how available will you be for your constituents?
It was definitely something that I thought a lot about in deliberating whether I should apply. I went to the director of NDE, my boss, and I talked to him about that, and then I went to the governor's office and said, you know, what would you think of me serving? They love the idea of me serving and are willing to offer flex time to support that. My particular role in my position is an interesting one. I'm not involved in everyday regulation. I'm there to form relationships with external stakeholders and manage those relationships, and then I'm a legislative coordinator as well. So it's definitely something that I can do from home and from on the road. I do often. That's one of the main reasons we chose Bradshaw, is the wonderful broadband. And my wife is also in support of this service. She has a similar background and really encouraged me to apply. So I'm very confident that I have the time to put forward to this, that it deserves.
Have you ever worked on budgets before?
Yes. The best example I can give is an organization that I helped manage in Colorado called the Coloradans for Responsible Energy Development, and its sister organization, Protect Colorado. Protect Colorado ran political campaigns on behalf of a number of large companies, and that the largest budget that I had to work with was $36 million in a single year. We brought on a whole lot of people in a whole little time, and really had to manage those dollars well, especially because those were visible dollars. Just like the county budget is. So I try to prioritize. My approach to the budget is prioritization, priorities versus needs. I understand that the county's in an extraordinarily tough spot, but from the outside looking in, you're spending your county's spending the dollars responsibly. From my view, we have so many things that are put on us from the state level that we have to deal with, but our main goal is to protect the citizens of York County maintain roads, and those are the priorities that I look toward. So it's always from a conservative standpoint of priorities versus needs. Needs versus wants, I should say.
What makes you the best candidate for the commissioner's vacancy?
Yeah, thank you for that. Like I said, I've been blessed with a good amount of experience in my career. I've been called to serve my entire life. This is the career choice that I've strived toward, and that I've been able to help out in a number of different situations, small and large. And I think it's my relationships and the ability to form relationships with key folks. So I don't take it lightly that I'm busy and that I'm not from York County originally. If I were originally from York County and I saw someone coming in with things, I'd think, are you seriously? And originally I didn't want to apply because of that reason. However, it was the relationships I've been able to form. It is very important. I've been able to really develop, like I said, not only in the state legislature, but with agencies on the local level and throughout the state. I'm able to I guarantee you I don't know everything. And I will never know anything, except I know how to contact the people that do know. The people that I can reach out to and ask for help on a tough subject, because there are a ton of tough subjects that we'll have to work on. That's a value that I bring.
You brought up the issue of tough subjects, and in rural America versus urban America, there are issues that are unique to rural. To you, what would some of those issues be, and how would you address them?
Well, the easiest answer is just power generation, land rights. I would listen to everybody. I don't come in here with answers. I would want to learn. I don't come in here with an agenda or any set position on anything that would be on the agenda coming up. I know that there's a lot of discussion about the solar project and about pipelines and about election security, and those are all tough subjects. I've dealt with tough subjects my entire career. There's an example of where I spent 53 hours in my office in Denver as there were protesters who barricaded themselves in our office building and in an attempt to use their First Amendment rights and be heard. They were heard. We made sure that their voices were heard, and I slept in my office to make sure that they were safe. So my approach is to hear everyone and to come to the best decision available. I don't have come in with an axe to grind or any agenda whatsoever. So I would approach every single situation like that, where I'm not representing myself. In that Colorado example, I was representing my senator, who's voted upon by the majority of constituents. I'm not representing myself. I would be representing the 3rd district, and so what's best for the 3rd district?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Questions? Any more questions? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Steve Warren.
Good afternoon, you guys. My name is Steve Warren. I'm interested in serving for the District 3 York County Commissioners. I campaigned and ran for this position in 2022 and received the 2nd highest number of votes. Dean Buller and Eugene Bergen were both former county commissioners, and I knew them very, very well. And they always encouraged me. They said, Steve, when you get old, well, I got old. I went ahead and applied, and I was born and raised here in York County. I'm one of the few people that could probably say I've moved 2 miles in my life. I've slept in 2 bedrooms my whole life. I know the people, the roads. I drove school bus from Bradford there for quite a few years, but I also right now work for Aurora Co-op out of Henderson. So I'm out delivering anhydrous, liquid fertilizer, seed, chemicals, and everything. So every road in District 3, I have crossed every road. York County's done a very, very, very good job, let me tell you. Because that district over there, the bridges are all pretty much taken care of. They all have new bridges and everything, and I know we got, 3 bridges we're working on this year, I think, and that in the county. I just believe I can provide the people of District 3. I've served on the Bradshaw Village Board over the years, so I help with financing, set up budgets, stuff like that. I'm a member of the Bradshaw United Methodist Church. And I've held about every office imaginable in a small church like that with everything. I have 3 wonderful daughters and 3 wonderful son-in-laws. I couldn't have picked out better ones. 7 little grandchildren right now. I help the 3 girls. They played ball. They had 4-H. They had everything. So right now I got 7 little grandkids. So last night at this time I was trying to help order break a heifer calf and everything. So I keep busy there. But like I said, I have firsthand the roads and the bridges and the land conditions. I got the 3 son-in-laws. They'll always tell you the same thing. I said, Steve, I don't care where we ever go, you always find out somebody you know. Somebody will run across the net. And I just like to be a good representative for York County. I think I've been honest and hardworking. But I still believe we all need to continue to work as a county board and on the planning commission and all county employees. And we got to keep good county employees and everything and get the jobs done that need to be done. And let's see. I believe the county's been very productive in the area of economical development. With the help of a very aggressive York County Development Corporation, we must continue to keep moving forward all the time on that part. I always feel enough money needs to be spent on roads, working in the county to keep them safe and in good condition. And I know some winters and springs are harder on the roads than others. This year now, when we had all that snow and everything, we spent quite a little money getting them roads cleared and everything. You still got it. And I know we'll have to have some gravel on some places. I drove around here in the hall and stuff. I noticed that there's places that need roads that are going to need a little upkeep and everything. That just happens. And I know the county has several interlocking agreements, and I feel I need to know a little more about those currents to know what really needs done. You need to be on the board long enough to start working some of those things. And and I also always believe the security measures need to be reviewed here at the courthouse and possibly changed. And I realize change, it'll come at cost, but no one's life is not a price tag on it. We need to stay on top of that for people's safety. I'd like to see the budget stay about the same, but increasing costs, we all know, it doesn't matter what it is. For the roads, we use a tremendous amount of diesel fuel, and the maintainers and everything are getting higher priced all the time. It's just like anything in farming, farm machinery and everything. York County has a very, very good law enforcement program. I've always been, I worked with the law enforcement always when we were on the Bradshaw County Board. And I was always really impressed how the county sheriffs did watch out for these smaller towns. And we live in town and we see a patrolman go, or county employee quite often. I realize that there are mandates that are handed down, and we can't not have any control of some of this stuff. You know, we're told what to do, and we have to do it. But we can just try to work with them and the best we can, and the board can continue to serve and work together. And there's one thing that's always been on my mind from years and years and years. I know money's tight and everything, but what I would like to see, if money was really no object, is we've got some blacktop roads that never ever got completed in District 3. For instance, the Bradshaw one went out 4 miles north of town. It stops and it's gravel. Then you got 1, 2, you got 3 more miles of gravel, and then you hit the blacktop again. And they took that blacktop from there up to the Polk County line. And then the same thing, they came out of Benedict to the west there. And they never, and there's what, 3 or 4 miles there that need to be connected with that Bradshaw one that I just told about and everything. And I know at the time, and that's been years ago, but they said some of that they did for that reason. They called it, was it gap paving at that time? They said if you start on one end and start on the other end, then it was easier to get the money to complete the rest of the project. And I don't know, have a clue if that's still the same way or not. But I know there's a lot of guys up in that area, Morton, Harborville townships, that we've always thought that that's something that needs to be done, especially now today's age with the grain that we're producing. And some of these specialty crops, we've only got hours to get that into the elevators. Like Bradshaw right now, if you've never been to Bradshaw in the last 6 months, you cannot believe the amount of grain storage they have built. Those 3 new silos, the other bin, so they can load out a train load, each one of them. The thought of that, when the railroad's coming, you want to have so many hours to get that crop in there and everything. And that's where some of the roads we just need to really prioritize them, I think. And no, I just like to keep a active, positive working condition with all the board members, all the county employees, and everybody that's in District 3. And like I said, I grew up here all my life, and 2 years ago when I went out campaigning, I went down and followed the county line in Fillmore County, stopped and talked to a lot of people, going up the line of Hamilton County, you know. I don't know everybody in Bradshaw like I used to. I don't know everybody in Benedict. I don't know everybody in Henderson, but I know quite a few people. Out in the country, I do know probably 99% of the people where they live. And I guess that's pretty close to what I've done.
Okay.
I really, really, really appreciate it. And you guys, you said it when you, Stan was a very good friend of mine. His youngest daughter and our oldest daughter were the same class as me. That's how I really got to meet Stan and everything. And then when he was growing up as a young child, he lived on the same section that my son-in-law and daughter live on right now. There's nothing left there. They were back in the field there. But yeah, I was totally shocked that night when Abby told us this thing passed away that afternoon. He went to the track meet and went over. Yeah, it was very hard on me to see Stan. Thank you very much.
If we choose you to fill the county commissioner's vacancy, what would be the first item of business you would address?
Oh, that's a hard one. I know we have a lot of stuff going on with the solar project right now. And I'm going to come straight out and tell you guys, it's a very, very hard subject for me right now. I've got relation on both sides of the fence, for and against. But, and I never ever, and they'll tell you the same thing. I don't think anybody's ever going to push you and take your land away from you or anything. You have a choice. And you guys know, and we know, we've worked on this project now for what, 5 years? it's been a long time that this got started. And I think right now I don't think the acres that got signed up that they really thought that he was gonna get at the beginning. I know we gotta do these setbacks and stuff, I know that we have, that's just something we're gonna have to work on right away. Because the project needs to be figured out. And then, like I said, constantly the roads. And was it for that position out here, you know, there's 3 of you guys here in the town that take care of a lot more of that, but we're just taking care of the roads and the bridges and culverts and if somebody's got a concern that there's after a big rain, like a washout or something, that we get that taken care of. And I really, really want to work with all the maintainer operators, and I think right now we've got a good set team, people that are doing a good job, and we've got to learn to keep those people. You get a lot of money invested in training.
Okay,
I
Thank
hope
you.
that answered your
Yep.
question.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let's see. How involved do you plan on being with the committees that you're assigned to?
Okay, that's a good question, very much, because I'm going to tell you right now, I'll be 70 years old pretty quick. And I'm still working full-time. I mean, there was this spring, a couple times I had in those 70 hours a week. But my manager, I talked to him with the Aurora Co-op, and I told him, I said, the day's coming when I'm going to want to slow down or completely. And that's a good thing right now. That was the thing, 2022, I still plan on can. But like right now, my plan is to not quit tomorrow or anything, but by in a few months, I'm pretty much going to be trying to be pretty much retired. And that way I can give the time that's needed. Because I've talked to Stan and I've talked to Bill Vosper quite a bit and different things. And like they both told me, they said it's not a 40-hour work week, but there's stuff that it's just not coming in here every 2 weeks for a meeting and everything. There's a lot of other committee stuff that needs to be done. And I'm very, very, very willing to take on those responsibilities to help you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
There's a lot of hot button issues in York County,
Yes, there is.
and they're not going to go away
No.
anytime soon. And when it comes to conflict resolution, when you reach deep inside, how do you address conflict?
Well, you try to listen to both sides of the stories and try to find out what the positives are, what the negatives are, what the impact's going to be, and everything when it's all said and done. But I think we all grew up as young kids. I think we all grew up to sometimes we didn't agree with everything, but we agree with the majority of the people. If that's what the majority want, then that's what we need to do.
Very good.
Is that yes?
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you. Thanks.
Shannon Graves.
Hi, I'm Shannon. I'm married to Kevin. We have 2 grown children and 1 grandson. We live in the Arborville Township area. My husband's great-grandfather was one of the founding members of York County. His name, Daniel Graves, is on the cornerstone of the old courthouse, and it's still on a building downtown on Grant. So roots run deep. Our children are the 5th generation to live in the house he built in Arborville Township in the 1870s. Great-grandpa built our house to be the showcase of York County. The limestone foundation came from the Platte River. The lumber was brought from the east by train to Omaha and then by wagon the rest of the way. What an arduous trip it was in those days, taking weeks where it takes us just a couple hours. I learned all this when we were fighting to keep a 36-inch pipe of poison from going 275 feet from her now 150-year-old home. Excuse me. In fact, I spent quite a bit of time in this chair and in those days, and I don't know if I could speak for more than 3 minutes, but I think I can do 5. I'm sure the solar project will come up, so I'm going to jump ahead to it. I'm a firm believer in property rights, but I'm also a believer in being a good neighbor. And sometimes being a good neighbor means building a fence. And obviously, since I fought the 41st richest corporation in the world, I am totally against eminent domain for private gain. I went to the candidate forum last week, so I thought I'd give my answers to some of the questions brought up there about zoning, funding, and transparency. In 2013 or 14, we had a group of local landowners we called the Good Life Alliance. We worked with this board and the zoning board to write zoning pertaining to hazardous liquids pipelines. At the time, there were 11 pages of zoning for wind energy, and we took a lot of wording straight from that document. Unfortunately, the board voted down the zoning board suggestions, and though section 509 pertaining to liquid hazardous pipelines still exists, it's blank. Funding, of course, comes from taxes such as inheritance, sales, and property taxes. But none of these is equal to the other and should not be handled with the same gloves. I'm not well versed on taxes, though my dad was an accountant, but I do know the difference between a tax cut and a tax shift. Transparency with the public seems to be left up to the York News Times or Melanie's blog. But it's 2024 and people under the age of 50 get their news from Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. If we want to attract and keep a younger workforce, we must meet them where they are. I'd also like to see a couple evening meetings a year, maybe quarterly. A person working 9 to 5 cannot make a meeting at 8:30 without it costing them, literally. Another question was about the 11,000 miles of roads in the county. While I believe some are better than others, I also believe that every piece of equipment should have a real-time GPS to monitor exactly where they are at any given time. And I have a specific reason for this. The roads, during the Christmas snows of 2009, our plow driver spent his time going on the north and south roads, but not the east and west roads. The roads department said it showed that our road had been opened when it hadn't. We would have appreciated to have some accountability. We've been lucky we haven't had snow like that since, but we do need to look forward. And I believe in looking forward in every aspect of life. Our Native brothers and sisters make plans for the next 7 generations. And I believe we cannot get stuck in an instant gratification mindset because it's better to be proactive than reactive. You read my cover letter, my resume. I've spent my life in the service industry as a waitress and a bartender, as a special ed para, a stay-at-home mom, and a small business owner. My experience through all that has led me to be able to listen to more than just the words. And I can speak to anyone from the senator to the custodian to the child. That may not sound like a county commissioner to some, but I hope it does to you. I'd be glad to take your questions.
So how available will you be to your constituents?
My current job, I work 6 hours a week as a social hour lady. I serve free wine and beer to hotel guests. So I work Monday, Tuesday nights from 5 to 7. So I'm free
Okay.
the rest of the time.
What's my second question? When working with a budget, can you tell me the difference between budgeted money and actual money?
If you give me a minute, I can learn about it. I have Google. You know, we ran a small business, and of course, as a stay-at-home mom, I had my own personal budget. So I imagine that's just exceptionally larger. But no, at this time, I couldn't tell you the difference.
Perfect.
But I'd be willing to learn.
Great. I'm done.
What special skills would you contribute to the board?
I think I could give a different perspective. You know, I hate to play this card, but women are 51% of the population, and our voices need to be heard. And there are some, you know, sometimes maybe another opinion would help a situation.
Thank you.
As I asked Mr. Warren, when it comes to conflict, and the board's a tough spot right now. There's a lot of conflict on the board right now, and so when it comes to with you handling conflict, how do you handle it?
Well, I have a lot of experience in speaking with intoxicated people and the ability to bring them down from, you know, maybe an explosive event, kind of talk them down a little bit. With any adult, you just have to keep on a personal level to bring the temperature down. And like I said, I have that, I feel like I have an ability to speak with any member of society and find common ground.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrew Bowman.
You want to hear me?
Yeah.
All right. First off, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. It's truly an honor. Unfortunately, I wish it was under much different circumstances. I did know Stan a little bit. He was a great man from what little I got to interact with him. A little bit about myself. Lifelong York County resident, father of 5. My wife farms with me. My wife farms with myself. Recently, we made a career change for my family's sake. Prior to that, I was working at Aurora Co-op as the division leader for the animal nutrition department. Recently, we decided to make the move to take over my family's farming operation. Something that we had been doing on the side with the help of my brother for the last 2 years, following my father's passing. The nice thing about making this change is it allows me more time for the things I've been missing in my life. The biggest thing is my community. I was called and approached by a few of my neighbors about running for this seat, and I thought, you know what a great opportunity to not only honor my father and the work he put in as a school board leader, but as well as to help better the whole entire community. I'm currently serving on the York County 4-H Council. I do coach Little League football for my son's team. A member of Emmanuel Lutheran Church here in town. That's where I'm at now. Previously, I don't want to go through my whole resume again, but worked for the 2 largest companies in the counties, or 2 of the larger companies in the counties. Central Valley Ag, where I was a regional manager. Managed 11 locations. I believe at the time I had 96 employees underneath me. In that role, a lot of time with budgets, set yearly budgets alongside with the sales manager, which happened to be my brother, so there's a lot of fighting with that. As I transitioned over to Aurora Co-op, I ran the operations for the grain department for a year and a half, and then took on the role of Vice President of Animal Nutrition, where there again I also worked intensely on large budgets. Biggest thing I would say I could bring to the board is change, and helping administer change. That's one thing I've prided myself on my whole career is change is inevitable. It's how you embrace it and how you move forward that makes the difference. Change for change's sake is not a good thing, but enacting positive change for the future is very important. I believe if you don't change, you don't grow, and you die. Sorry, I'm being very blunt with that statement, but that's really where I feel. I feel I can bring a strong background of planning, project management to the county. I've been involved in numerous large projects throughout my career, ranging from $27 million complete grain terminal rebuilds all the way down to parking lot resurfacing. So that's really what I have to offer today. I'd sure love to field any questions you have.
I'm going to ask the same one here. So what would be your first item of business that you would address?
First item of business would be actually picking up where Stan left off. I know there's a couple issues on the table that need resolved. Due to his absence, they have not. The Grace Community, the Grace Community property tax issue, the zoning for the solar project. I need to get involved in that deeply. The other thing that needs to be addressed is the committees that Stan served on. I believe he was probably a very good voice for those folks, and they need a new voice for them as well. So those would be the things I would hope to address immediately.
Perfect.
What skills would you contribute to the board?
Planning, budgeting, those would be the two biggest things. Helping facilitate change, helping talk through change with the constituents. That would be one thing that I'd be very good at. Through my career working with two various co-ops, I started my career as an agronomy salesman, so I know a lot of the constituents I would be serving. There's a lot of times a lot of hard conversations come with that as well, unfortunately. You never have perfect situations in that field ever. So dealing with issues as they arise, being able to successfully not appease them, but make them understand the situations would be something I could bring.
Thank you.
Are you used to serving on committees, on boards where there's a substantial amount of conflict? And if so, how do you go about resolving the conflict?
I have not been on a ton of committees that have had a lot of conflict. My conflict resolution skills basically come from understanding all sides of the argument. Once I feel that I have all the information, I will state my position on it and then explain it. I feel if you make the best decision if you do the research, do the due diligence, and make the best decision on behalf, in this case would be on behalf of my constituents, I feel like I can stand behind that. There's some people that just flat will never agree with you, and there's times you just have to walk away. But I think the best way to deal with that is just to inform and discuss.
Very good, thank you.
Brian Bedian.
Good evening, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm from out in the Arborville territory, so I'm a neighbor of Shannon's. Seems like Arborville is getting more attention tonight than it has in 50 years with promises of asphalt and wonderful things like that. You have my cover letter, my resume. It contains most of the information. I'm not a person that likes to talk about myself much, so this should be quick and then we'll get on to your questions. I'm a lifelong resident of York County. I retired from my most recent employment at York County Public Transportation in early April after 7 years of service to the community. I enjoyed helping the clients to get to and from their various outings and appointments. I attempted to make every passenger feel safe, important, and appreciated. These are the interpersonal goals that I will continue to demonstrate if given the opportunity to continue to serve the county as District 3 Commissioner. My retirement obviously opened up my calendar and gives me time that will be required to handle the responsibilities of County Commissioner. I have a very deep-seated interest in York County being successful. My great-grandparents settled in northwest York County in the 1880s. They, along with my grandparents' parents, are all laid to rest in the Arborville Cemetery, which also happens to be located in District 3. I understand the proud history of our agricultural heritage and will not forget the importance of supporting the farmers and livestock producers. Critical to their success are the small towns like Benedict, Bradshaw, Henderson, and Washington. We must provide the support they need to continue providing markets and essential services. We are facing many challenges in continuing the services our county provides. I believe I have the experience to manage people, creating and executing business plans, and looking to the future to position our county for ongoing success. I want to be a strong voice for all the residents of District 3. I believe before you can speak for a diverse group like this, you must first understand what the concerns are. Obviously, the county's zoning for agricultural designated areas is getting a lot of attention. My service on a zoning subcommittee back in 2014 gave me the opportunity to learn about the process. My biggest takeaway was that whatever parameters are written into the zoning must be defensible in a courtroom. I am an excellent listener and am skilled at asking clarification questions to arrive at actionable issues to work on with the Board of Commissioners. As you have seen in my resume, I have a broad background in education that I believe will serve me well if given the opportunity to serve as District 3 County Commissioner. I look forward to responding to any questions you have for me.
I'll ask this one. When working with budgets, can you tell me the difference between budgeted money and actual money?
I am not an expert on budgets whatsoever, but I believe budgeted money is forecast money, it is planned spending in the future. Actual money is the funds that are available currently.
Great, thank you.
What role do you hope to play on the board?
Well, I want to represent the people that live in District 3. I have been to some commissioner meetings. I have followed the commissioners for 20 years. I guess the people that live up in my corner of the county feel underrepresented and like we're not heard. So I would take it upon myself to attend the town board meetings, get to know the communities, ask them what they need help with, try to be a better representative for the entire District 3.
Thank you.
Same question. When conflicts arises and when people are getting mad at you and angry and putting pressure on you, how do you react? How do you confront that, or how do you handle those type of situations?
Well, I react head on. I remain calm, but conflicts have to be resolved face to face, and some common ground arrived at, some give and take, but pretending that you agree and walking out of the room and sabotaging what someone else is trying to do is not the way to resolve conflict. So I am forthright. You will know what my opinion is, and we work things out from there.
Thank you.
Good. Oh, no, we don't. Jason Balaban?
Good evening. Thank you for this time. My name is Jason Balaban. I have been a resident of York County for over 45 years. I was born in Henderson. I've lived in Lushton for pretty much most of that time. I served on the Lushton Village Board for over 14 years, 6 of those as the board chairperson. I have taken care of the roads from roughly 1995 to 2021 in Lushton. So I have had a lot of experience working with the York County road superintendent, including the current one, Harvey Kime. I have a long-time relationship with him because we have to get gravel, bring in gravel for the roads in town, provide gravel for people's driveways, take care of mowing, tree trimming, stuff like that. I'm an electrician of over 20 years, specializing in ag and commercial. My company that I work for is based out of Aurora, but being ag, we do a lot of work in York County with many of the farmers. So I do travel a lot of the roads in York County. I know a lot of the farmers. Obviously, you can't know everybody, but we have customers from Fillmore County line, Polk County line, Hamilton County line, all the way over past Utica and into Seward County. So I drive around the county a lot. I have a small business based out of Lushton since 2001. So I'm used to dealing with, but it's a small budget, obviously, but the basics are all the same. Obviously, and that's pretty much, I don't have a whole lot, so that's pretty much the extent of it.
Perfect. So what makes you the best candidate for the commissioner vacancy?
I would say that my experience on a local village board. So I have, like I said, I've dealt with the roads commission, or the roads superintendents, I think 4 different ones since I was on the board in Lushton. Dealt with a little bit of the state stuff because of the blacktop when they brought that in, so we had to deal a little bit with the state roads because of that situation. But I have experience on boards, even though it's small, but you'd be surprised at the things you have to deal with, and even in a small town of 30 people. There's the finances, the percentages are the same, even though the dollars are smaller.
How available will you be to your constituents?
Extremely, because of the industry as an electrician, working in ag, and obviously, like I said, I have lots of customers in York County, along with living in York County. My hours are very lenient. I do not have a set schedule. I get my work done. If I get done early, and I can go do whatever is needed. I always have my phone on me. I'm always available. And like I said, I'm constantly driving around York County on lots of roads. So even if I'm on duty on my job, I'm still driving around the county and looking at roads, looking at, bridges, whether we got trees that have fallen on the road or trees that are close to the road. So I'm very available.
And have you ever worked with the budget?
Well, we have at the village board, we had a budget, and obviously it's smaller, but we still have utilities, our street lights to pay for, our roads money, our state roads money what is automatically allocated to York County. That's part of why we had so much interaction with the county road superintendent. So, and we don't have any public utilities outside of we pay for the street lights, and then we maintain our small little town hall, and then we have, you know, a dumpster, a village dumpster. So yes, it's a small budget, but I guess I do have experience dealing with budget.
Thank you.
What special skills would you contribute to the board?
Again, I would go back to my experience on the other board, in the village board, also my experience, the fact that I traveled the county substantially through my work. I have lots of relationships with a lot of the farmers and local people because of not only my personal, but my you know, the two different businesses and different interactions. So I think that would be beneficial.
Thank you.
Serving on the Lushton Village Board, as with any board, there's going to be some conflicts.
Yeah.
And how did you address those, and were you the leader on addressing the conflicts?
In some, yes. In others, you know, in a especially a small situation like that where you have 5 people on the board and only 30 people living in the town, and you know, 10 of those are all related to each other. So you a lot of times you have to pick a battle, you know, and you're never going to make everybody happy. But the best situation is to keep your cool, hear everybody out, and try and make the decision that, for lack of it, fits or helps, benefits the most people possible. Because not everybody's going to be happy. You're never going to have everybody happy. But so if you have a town of 30 people and your decision is going to make 20 people happy and benefit and 10 people upset because they didn't get their way, that, you know, you're never going to fully solve that problem.
Yep. Very good.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Okay. Last one is John Prussia.
Hello. Most of you know me. My name is John Prussia. I live in Henderson. I live in Henderson with my wife. My wife and I have 4 boys. We moved to the York area in 1999. I took a job with the York County Sheriff's Office in 2003 as a corrections officer. From there, I promoted into a supervisor spot in that same job, or in that same department. I then eventually, my goal was to transition out to a deputy's position. That happened in 2006. I worked approximately 12 years night shift. I think I know the county roads about as good as the back of my hand. We are 4 kids. We have 4 grandkids to go along with that. In my spare time, if I have any, I like to go hang out with them and just try to be a regular guy. That's about it.
So what would be your first item of business if you were
I would say, since I was one of the ones that ran when Stan ran in 2022. And, I think probably I've been trying to either come to meetings or watch them on the internet. And so I am trying to stay caught up as best I can. But I think first off and foremost, educate myself. Educate myself to the solar project. I know a little bit about it. I know what the discussion is. I know what the fight, not necessarily a fight, but conflict is. But, I don't know what the other commissioners know. So.
Have you ever worked with a budget?
A little bit. I've seen a little bit of a budget. When I worked back in the jail, Dale always took care of that. That was just his cup of tea. So he did that. I'm a little bit involved in the budget at Henderson, but not to the level where I could, boldly say, yeah, I've been involved. So,
Thanks.
yeah.
What makes you the best candidate for the commissioner's vacancy?
I don't know that I am, to be honest with you. I've heard a lot of great stuff tonight, and for me to get up and basically tell you guys I'm a regular guy, I don't know if I could compete, but, I'm honest, I'm trustworthy, I'm not afraid to ask questions, I'm not afraid to tell you I don't know and find out the answer. Yeah, that's about it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Conflict resolution. When push comes to shove, what do you do when push comes to shove?
Talk. You gotta talk it out. If you can't converse about a difference of opinion, it'll never get settled. There'll never be a common ground. You have to talk it out. No different than, getting in an argument with your wife or husband or what have you. You have to work it out. So, and, for the last 18 years, that's what I've been doing, on and off the job. So.
Okay. Thank you. Any more questions?
I don't have anything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You did so well last time.
Before I look at this, if this environment was taken to a federal level or a state level, I can't even imagine how much better of a world we would have. And so I am fairly somewhat overwhelmed with all 7 of the individuals that spoke tonight. And I just, this county never ceases, personally to me, to amaze me of the quality and the depth of the people that are here. And I haven't counted this yet, but I encourage each member, each individual that spoke tonight and applied for this position to stay involved, to keep involved at the political level and to continue to try to make change in this county, because tonight was overwhelming. Okay, there is a consensus vote, and the new county commissioner for District 3 will be Mr. Bowman, Mr. Andrew Bowman. We're excused.